It isn't long ago that seeing myself in the mirror would bring up some really uncomfortable thoughts. Like many of us, I was so convinced that my bodily worth was measured by its conventional definition of physical aesthetic, and that it was possible to have a non-worthy, flawed body. This is no longer how I think. I now know and continue to preach to myself that my body is inherently worthy, and that the journey isn't as much about feeling good about my body, but in my body. I'm still unlearning so many things that the system had convinced me, and I'm still healing. But I came such a long way already, and in this video, my goal is to inspire you to venture into this journey as well. Before I get started, I want to touch base and let you know that all of these things are something that is really dear to me and has helped me a lot in the way that I feel in my body. And these might not work for you, and they might do, but they might need a little twist, or you can just take them as they are. It's completely up to you. But remember that you eventually have to find your own way, and my point with this video is to inspire you and maybe give you some ideas to what could help. So let's get into it. So I used to go to the gym every single morning, and this is a while ago now, but I used to go because first I wanted to lose weight, then I eventually started just wanting to be stronger, and then it just kind of became a habit. But when Corona kind of like broke out and I was forced to not go to the gym anymore because they were closed, I realized that how I thought about the gym wasn't how I thought about it, if that makes sense. It was a very toxic and negative cycle. I realized that because I was hit with so much panic. I was hit with so much panic when it closed, and I felt so scared and anxious of becoming weaker and becoming bigger. The point with this story is that this uncomfortable experience for me had allowed me and almost forced me into a situation where I had to sit with my feelings and where I had to deal with what I was dealing with without having this toxic unconscious cycle of going to the gym. And it allowed me to sit at home and meditate instead. It allowed me to reach out to different practices like yoga that was more of a spiritual connection with your body and with your mind and with your breath work. And I had more time to sit and listen to podcasts that I loved and that brought me inspiration. I started feeling my body really like how it was instead of how I wanted it to be, if that makes sense. So this tip is really to strip down and get back to basis. Maybe you can see it kind of as if you are afraid that you're allergic to something, you will usually go through this diet route where you remove everything from your diet and then little by little reintroduce things again to see what you are reacting to. Do the same with your body. At least that's what I felt like I was doing. And little by little reintroduce new things. If you feel like something was triggering you, then that's not for you, and that's fine. And once we have worked through this in our minds, and in the connection, we can reintroduce going to the gym. I'm sure that I'm gonna go back again, but I'm so grateful for this moment of realization that the closing of the gyms brought me, and I hope you could use this as well. Most of us, if not all of us, has extremely twisted views of ourselves because of beauty standards. And we can all agree that these beauty standards and this bad influence comes from outside factors, right? But a really uncomfortable thing that I have realized is that we are in complete control over ourselves, and we're in complete control over what we choose to take in and what we choose to take as the truth. We always have complete control and complete responsibility over ourselves and our bodies and what we believe is the truth and what we choose to take in and what we don't choose to take in. But this is so difficult to hear because we've never been taught this. And these beauty standards and these expectations to our physical appearance has been brainwashing us for generations and lifetimes, to the extent that we don't even believe we have a choice anymore. We don't believe that we actually can choose ourselves. When I was suffering from bulimia and body dysmorphia, I truly, to the deepest part of my body, believed that I did not have any choice, and that if I didn't look a certain way, I would not be welcomed, I would not be respected, I would not be treated as a human, and men wouldn't like me, and of course none of these things are real. But I really did 100% believe that they were, because of this generational trauma that is being put onto us. And we have to remember that I'm even in a privileged position. I'm white, I'm able-bodied, I have a shit ton of pretty privilege, and I am normal weight, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean either way. And I was still feeling like shit. These beauty standards are not meant for us to reach them. They're meant for us to sell products to us. They're meant to profit off of capitalism. They're meant to make us feel shit because shit sells. But I really want to tell everyone that we are not forced. We are not a little puppet of the society. We're not tied with our hands. We decide 100% what we take in and what we believe. And we need to take the responsibility of that, because that's the only way things can change, and that's the only way we can pay it forward and share this with other people, and to tell them that we are in control ourselves. The more people who are aware of their own control, the more we can stop this, and we can create a healthier environment for everyone with unconditional love and respect and honoring each other's uniquely differences. I'm really getting sad right now. You know, the world is just so ugly. I don't know why I'm crying. I know why I'm crying. It's so horrible, but you are the creator of your own experiences, and it's not easy to choose love and to choose this reality, but the more that we keep it in our minds, the better and easier and more available and sustainable this mindset becomes to us. Okay, we have realized the very uncomfortable thing that we're creators of our own reality, but how do we unlearn all of this trauma and all of this really toxic mindsets? I truly believe that it comes firstly for the things that we put out into the world with our speech. Sissel is so smart. She and I are doing After Sunset together. If you are new here on the channel, this is our podcast where we talk a lot about this kind of stuff. And she said in one of our episodes about the power of our language, she said, Sissel, there's a reason why it's called spelling. Because you're spell casting. You're spell casting with your words. And they have such a huge effect that even plants can feel them, and they change their molecules because of it, that we can yell at rice and it molds quicker. The possibilities are just endless, and just because science can't prove anything, it doesn't mean it's not true, because science can't prove anything. We're like a little tiny piece of the whole universe. We need to spellcast with love towards ourselves as well. I used to walk past mirrors and think horrible thoughts inside my mind. The second that I started my journey, I realized every time I said something negative to myself, and I would then confront it, because you're aware of it, and awareness is the first step. In the beginning, it has zero effect to change I hate these thighs to I love these thighs, because you're not gonna believe it. Let's just be honest. We've been conditioned for this way of thinking for so long. And so just changing it completely from hate to love, it's not on the ladder, it's too far of a jump. So next time that you're recognizing yourself to say that you hate your body, or you hate how it looks, or you hate your thighs, maybe change it to I am now in process of learning how to embrace my thighs. I am now learning how to love myself. I am now learning to reconnect with my body. I am now choosing to change my mindset, and the journey is long, but it's always worth it. Whatever works for you will work for you, and I'm sure that you know deep down what to say to yourself, because at the end of the day, it's just your little wounded child that's sitting inside here. That's actually one thing that I've been working on as well when it comes to speech. I am currently reading Spirit Hacks by Shaman Durek, and he had a little chapter of inner child work. And he said that in the morning he would always wake up and he would talk to his inner child with his hands on his chest. And he would talk to them and say, I love you. You are so precious. I'm so proud of you. You are so worthy exactly as you are. And so I've been starting to say this to myself as well. Well, myself, but my inner child. Even before I speak to Jake, even before I look at my phone, before I do anything in the morning, I just take a little moment. And it feels weird, but the more I do it, the more I feel like I'm hitting really deep inside of me, and that I am standing in front of the little Sissel. As much as how our words that we speak have an effect on our body and our mental health, how we do and how we touch and how we are physically with our body has a huge meaning as well. And it can be either positive or it can be negative. As I mentioned in my How I Am Staying Grounded in a Big City video, I said very briefly that I used to squeeze my body fat so hard that it would hurt. And this kind of action was done intentionally to hurt myself. But very often we forget that a lot of how we touch ourselves, even when we don't consciously think that it has an effect, it does. How are you touching yourself when you're putting on your lotion? How are you brushing your hair? How are you walking? How are you anything in this world, pretty much? You need to really be conscious about that because it has an effect, no matter if you have a conscious intent or not. So in that video I mentioned that I was doing Abhyanga a lot, which is warm oil massage on my body. I touch it a lot and I make sure to touch it very gently. And I kid you not, after changing how I touch, I even feel bad for my body because I have an issue with biting my nails. If I accidentally rip some skin, like I feel bad for my body. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I have such a deeper connection to my body now that I understand that it's a part of all of me. And the beauty is, the second you start to introduce more gentle touch and be more gentle with your body, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel it so much more. Just touching my thighs now and feeling the sensation all the way down to my toes and up in my head. I could not feel that before. I was numb. And this gentle touch has just reintroduced feeling and reintroduced love into my body. For many of us, healing the relationship with our bodies also means healing the relationship that we have with food. And this comes last in the video because I really want to emphasize my prioritizes when I was going through, and I'm still going through, this cycle. I wasn't able to change my relationship with food before I went through some of my earlier steps. And I might as well tell you, but my relationship with food pretty much fixed itself by going through these steps, and I now think completely different about it. So where my journey has taken me in food is to be more intuitive with what I eat. And this is not easy because we have so many things going back and forth, right? But I tell you, the more that you create a better relationship with your body and a relationship that's built out of unconditional love to it, the more that your body is going to be able to tell you exactly what it's craving and what it needs in certain situations. And this doesn't mean that it's going to be able to tell you that you can only eat mango and green leaves all day. No, because maybe your body also wants a cheeseburger once in a while, and that's totally okay. And that's the whole beauty of it, to eventually reach a point where you feel okay eating whatever it tells you to eat because you trust it. So with everything that I've shared today, with everything that I say, I completely recognize that it's gonna be close to impossible for a lot of us to change because of our current living situations. The most important thing is just your mindset and being aware of it and starting the journey from wherever you can. Change what you can, when you can, and little by little. And I'm sending you so much love on this journey because it's exciting and it's so beautiful and it's completely changed my life. And if you have any thoughts, please leave them down below. I'm sure that we would all love to read it and learn from each other. Thank you for watching this video. It was not easy to make and not easy to film, and I'm sure that it's not going to be easy to upload as well because it's such sensitive topics. Yeah. But I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was helpful. See you next time. Bye guys!